Hello there, welcome to day 3 of Tryprying. Beginning with some wise words. This is what Jesus said he came to do in his manifesto. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to release the oppressed, to proclaim the year of God's favour. The title of today's reading is Quality. There's got to be something better. We live in a rich country, but we're not happy. We've accumulated huge levels of debt. Sexual freedom has brought about the disintegration of family. We're eating and drinking ourselves to death. Depression and despair drive suicide. Are we missing something? Is there another way of living life? 20 centuries ago, Jesus' first words were an invitation to live life differently. He invited people to change their thinking because there was a new world order about to break in. He said that heaven was going to come to earth. In fact, it had already come. It was going to begin with him and would roll down the centuries through the lives of people. It is estimated that 2.3 billion people have some loyalty towards Christ today, more than any other world religion, and it's still increasing. But becoming religious is not the point. What matters is that we become part of the movement for change. Jesus had a manifesto, the words that I read at the beginning of this reflection. It was what he wanted to do for people. Heaven was poised to affect human lives positively. Jesus' invitation to change our lives because God's kingdom is here remains as contemporary and relevant as ever. Heaven is knocking at your door, not to condemn you, but to give you a new quality of life. Try praying this. God, I recognize that the world has gone wrong in many ways, and I want to be part of something better. I'm sorry for my own part in making things go wrong. Make me someone who is connected with heaven. Then there's the daily reminders. Something that you can do today. Every time you use a key today, pray, God, unlock my life to your influence. And don't forget to keep praying for that big issue in your life where you'd love to see God intervene, you'd love to see things change. And also don't forget to pray for your friend or family member, colleague, whoever it is who you know is facing big stuff in their lives. They need help. Don't forget to continue to pray for them to receive the help they need from God. It's in this consistency and perseverance of our prayers that we will see things change. So pray for your big issue and pray for the big issue in the life of the one or maybe the few who you are praying for consistently. I don't know about you, but I find that prayer changes me. Praying for others changes my perspective and attitude so often. A story then to close. This is called Something Happened. It's a story from East Germany. 1989 was the year that the Berlin Wall came down and 10 Eastern European nations were released from communist rule. Historians will cite many reasons for this change. However, one factor is overlooked: a prayer meeting in Leipzig. For 40 years, the church in East Germany had been praying for better things. They cared for the poor and met every Monday to pray and worship. Since 1982, Pastor Christian Führer had met with a few people in his church to pray. 7 years later, 4 churches were holding weekly prayer meetings, and the numbers began to grow, attracting ordinary citizens. After the meetings, candlelit peace marches through the city took place. The communist authorities debated how they could stamp it out. The secret police issued death threats and roughed up some of the marchers, but the crowds kept coming. Eventually, as many as 50,000 came. On the 9th of October 1989, police and army units moved into Leipzig, and people feared a massacre, and hospital emergency rooms were cleared. Honecker, the East German leader, gave permission to use force. But the prayer meeting and the march went ahead. 70,000 people marched. The following Monday, 120,000 marched, and a week later, 500,000 were on the streets. By November 1 million marched in East Berlin. Then something amazing happened. People started to cross between West Berlin, cross to West Berlin, and the police stood by without a shot being fired. The Berlin Wall and all it symbolized had just crumbled. Thank you for listening again. Maybe it's helpful to see that obstacle, that big issue in your life or in the life of another, like the Berlin Wall. And use that story, believe that story, even if you don't have the faith to believe it for yourself yet. Have faith in the belief of others, that like that Berlin Wall illustration represents. And consistently and persistently pray into the things that you are facing, and maybe you'll just see those walls come down and you see the breakthrough in your life too. I pray that happens with all my heart. Please feel free to get in touch with me with any questions, comments, or with any information about what it is that you're facing, and I will pray with you regularly that you will see the breakthrough that you're asking God for. God bless you, and thank you for your time.